Hi there, my name is Andrea Hill, and I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator for Communities for Youth. Uh, I'm really excited that you found our virtual data walk. I'm going to do my very best to explain what we just shared with Boise City partners um, just this month. And I'm excited to be able to go over the data with you that we've collected in Boise for the third year. And we're going to see what things are looking like for youth, and as well as talk about upstream prevention. And really, that's what our focus is at Communities for Youth. We want to look at what we can do within communities to increase the opportunity for youth to thrive and reduce the challenges that they experience, and especially on how those impact youth mental health and well-being. So as we're looking at this next slide here, what we really want people to understand as far as upstream prevention is together we can improve conditions to help youth reach their full potential. And so you'll see here that we have several different domains that impact a young person's life. We have the individual domain, peers, family, school, and community. And within these different domains, there are a variety of things that can help youth thrive or make life more challenging for them. And so we really want to build strategies that focus on changing the conditions that can lead to poor health outcomes for youth and increase the things that actually support them and help them to do their very best. So our process with Communities for Youth is a four-part process. We begin with building a community coalition and really bringing together members within the community who want to help youth thrive. And so this can be educators, this can be civic leaders, faith leaders, coaches, small business owners, parents, grandparents, neighbors, really anyone who wants to make a difference in young people's lives and can be focused on trying to change the conditions that are making it harder for them. And sometimes as adults, we think we have a really good idea of what it is that our young people need. But with our process, we actually center the youth experience. We collect information from youth so that we truly understand what it's like for them to live in their community, what might be hurting or helping their health. And this is usually done in collaboration with schools and usually done through a survey, which is the data that I'm going to share with you today. So our youth are able to participate in this. It's optional and it is also anonymous. And so youth are encouraged to share and be honest with us about their experiences so that we can truly understand what's going on for them. After we collect that information, we then take that to the community coalition and say, hey, let's see what's going on with the youth and what we can do about it. What assets and supports do we have within our community that can help address what the youth need? And with that, we can create strategies and use evidence to be able to support youth in ways that can make meaningful change. Our last step in the process is to keep the conversation going, to use the momentum that's built and keep it going, and keep the conversation centered on youth, as well as continue to build the coalition and continue to collect data to inform the strategies that we put into place to best support our youth. So that's the process that we have been putting into place here in Boise, as well as in other communities throughout the state. We use evidence-based decision-making to help inform our strategies that we recommend to the communities with which we work. And so using evidence is a really key part of upstream prevention. We take the contextual evidence, so really what's going on for youth. We look at the best available research that's there, as well as what the experiences are and how we can actually put that into practice. And so when we build strategy, we really have to consider the evidence before we take any particular approach. So let's look at some of this data. So the good news is that key trends in Boise over time, we are seeing a decline in some things that we know are really important for youth mental health and well-being. And so what you're going to see here is we have here the percent of students who reported in the surveys in 2022 and 2024. And we have two different lines here. This first line at the top is looking at high social isolation. So these are our youth who are not feeling connected. And we can see that in 2022, 59% of our respondents were experiencing high social isolation. And now in 2024, only 40% of those who responded are experiencing high social isolation. So we're really excited to see that there have been more opportunities for youth to connect, and they are feeling more connected. The next line is actually looking at moderate to severe depressive symptom levels. And so here we see in 2022 that 38% of the youth who responded were experiencing moderate to severe depressive symptoms. That has now declined to 18%. And that is an awesome shift. And we're really, really excited to see that trend that way. It's also exciting that this is less than the national average. And so we're really excited that things are happening in the Boise community to better support youth. And we are excited to explore some of the ways that that can be done as we go through these next slides. So with youth living in Boise, it's important for us to consider the key risk and protective factors. So really those things that are helping our youth to thrive or making it more challenging. And social isolation remains the largest factor that is impacting depressive symptoms for our Boise youth. And the beauty is we can do something about that. We can make a difference by cultivating relationships with trusted adults. We can do that by helping support peer-to-peer connection, as well as encouraging connection to and exploration of one's individual interests, so that connection to self. And so when we can create more opportunities for connection, we are likely to be able to continue to impact depressive symptoms for our Boise youth. So as I go through these next slides, I'm going to share the data with you, and I invite you to push past blame and think more about action. And so instead of thinking, who is doing this that's making this happen, instead think, okay, what strengths and gifts do we have in our community that might be able to address this? And who else can I share this with so that we can create more awareness and hopefully create more change? So we're going to start right in with depression in Boise students. So this was data that was collected in 2024 in November, so really recent. And so here what we've seen is we looked at all the grade levels from 6th to 12th grade in schools within the Boise area. And specifically Boise School District with just secondary schools. But here what we see is that reporting moderate to severe depressive symptoms for our students, that is collected by using the PHQ-9, which is a clinical scale used to assess the severity of depression. And so with that, it is actually how clinicians determine whether or not someone would need evaluation and treatment. And so here we're able to see that the boys are the blue bars and the girls are the orange, and across the grade levels, the percentage of youth reporting moderate to severe depressive symptoms. And so as you see these numbers, what you can see is that across almost all grades, girls are reporting higher rates of depression. This is not unique to the Boise community. We see this in other communities as well, and that follows the national data too. So let's look here at depression and social media use in Boise students. So here, these are, once again, the youth who reported moderate to severe depressive symptoms. And then of those youth who reported moderate to severe depressive symptoms, we're looking at the amount of time that they spent in social media. And so we see here, no time, 1 to 4 hours per day, and more than 4 hours per day. And so what we can see here is teens who spend less time on social media are reporting lower rates of depression. And so less time on social media is showing to be protective for youth, whereas spending more than 4 hours a day can be a risk factor for depressive symptoms. Next, we're looking at depression and social isolation in Boise students. And I said this is one of the biggest factors that we can do something about, and that has one of the greatest impacts on Boise depressive symptoms, or excuse me, Boise youth's depressive symptoms. And so here, once again, we have the moderate to severe depressive symptoms for our youth, or those who have reported moderate to severe depressive symptoms. And we're looking at low social isolation and high social isolation. And so here, these youth are not feeling connected, and they are also reporting higher rates of depressive symptoms. And so when we can get youth connected, when they are not feeling as isolated, we see lower rates of depression. Now let's look at depression and help-seeking behavior in Boise students. So here we have, looking again at those depressive symptoms and their severity. And these are the students who were reporting moderate to severe depressive symptoms, and we're looking at whether or not they seek help if they're having a problem or do not seek help if they're having a problem. And so here we can see that teens who seek help report lower rates of depression. And so teens having someone that they can go to help them maybe deal with stressors or problems, whatever those challenges may be, that is a protective factor for these youth. Next, let's look at depression and alcohol use in Boise students. So once again, these are the youth reporting moderate to severe depressive symptoms, and then we're looking at their alcohol use. So those who have not been drunk at least once in the past year, of those who have not been drunk in the past at least once in the past year, 17% of those youth are reporting moderate to severe depressive symptoms, as opposed to those who have been drunk in the past year. Of those who have been drunk in the past year, 39% of them are also reporting moderate to severe depressive symptoms. So we can see here that teens who have not been drunk at least once in the past 12 months report lower rates of depression. Now let's look at spending time outside. So this is stress and time spent in nature. We look at stress differently than when we look at how we determine our depressive symptoms. We don't just ask Boise youth, are you stressed? Instead, we look more at things that would maybe be more of overwhelm. How often do they feel like things are out of their control, or they cannot control things in their life, or things are piling up quicker than they're able to address them? And so when students are feeling more overwhelmed, we put that into the high stress category. So of our youth who are reporting higher stress, we are finding that those who spend more time in nature, there are fewer of those who spend more time in nature that are reporting high stress, as opposed to those who are spending less time in nature. And so with this particular group of youth, they were spending less than 30 minutes per month outside. So if we can get our youth outside, they are more likely to experience less stress. Now we're going to look at depression and family support in Boise students. And so here, once again, we're looking at those who reported moderate to severe depressive symptoms. And then of those who reported moderate to severe depressive symptoms, we looked at the type of support that they receive in their family. Do they feel like their family tries to help them with their problems? Can they come to them? And so when we have youth who experience high family support, they are also having lower rates of depressive symptoms than youth who do not have family who support them, who are not there to help them make decisions and give them the support that they need. So teens with more support report lower rates of depression. So I've shared with you today several different risk and protective factors that support youth in their mental health and well-being. And so there are a lot of opportunities, things that we can do things about. And I want to really draw attention to the importance of being able to address social connection for our youth. When we increase connection, we are able to have an impact on depressive symptoms. And we invite anyone who wants to come to the table to support youth here. We have great community partners who've been offering a lot of opportunities for connection. But as you can see, there are several other risk factors that we can address, and we invite you to join us. Please check out our website and also look at us on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for joining me. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We appreciate all you do to support youth. Thanks.